This is the Mike and Record Foundation.
It's been a lot about nostalgia for me lately.
Yeah.
So, like Spotify will make those mixes for you, and they've been pulling, just songs that I've liked for, the last 5 years. Just, from my standard lists of artists.
Yeah.
And then...
I love those lists. I love the discoveries.
Yeah, and, they know... they
just
finally learned what I want, and I'm very, alternative and indie and... indie pop, psych pop, that whole genre road. And they just, bring it with stuff I know, stuff I don't know. So they do a pretty good job with that. One of the people at work kind of missed...
Oh, shoot. This is my cat.
Ah, you have a cat! Hi!
This is Moxie.
Hi, Moxie. Juliet does not want to... She's over there. Aw, they could be friends. She's like, yeah, no. She's not available for interviews right now.
She's not available. She's taking her queen sleep.
She is. She's about to go for a nap. But yeah, she can stay. Let her hang out. She's good. This is real life.
Go ahead. You're talking to both of us now.
I am. A little nostalgia, pop punk. And believe it or not, I don't know where this came from. A few weeks ago, I pulled out I don't even know where it came from, the Oasis album that came out in 2005, Don't Believe the Truth.
Okay.
And I went on a trip that year with some friends of mine, a 21-hour drive to South Texas. From Greenville. And
man.
Yeah. And that album had just come out, and we listened to it the whole way down. And so I fell in love with it way back when they were still talking to each other.
That's such a cool story to have. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, it was a wild trip. I love a good road trip. I mean, America was built for a road trip. It's so huge. And so, I mean, you've done your fair share of road tripping across this gigantic country.
Yeah, burned out 3 cars doing so.
But I pulled that whole album out, and I was like, oh, yeah. And then I learned how to play one of the songs on my ukulele. I look over because it's right there. I'll have to post on Instagram.
Do it.
Yeah. I love that little thing.
I think I've seen you with it before.
I've played a little something. So, yeah. But I hadn't posted anything for a while, and I was like, I'm going to record this. I like the song. I like looking up songs and seeing that they were written, really accessibly. Sometimes you look up the chords for a song, you're like, I'm going to learn how to play this. And it's E flat minor, G7.
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, that's not going to happen. Can I have, G and C and F?
Yeah,
and
kind of one note at a time.
A. Can I have, chords that I know how to play? And then I can play this song.
Exactly.
So I looked up that song and I was like, yo, I can play this right now with all the chords that are currently in my head. And I was stoked, so I recorded it.
And it's funny, too, because they're like, okay, guys, we slowed it down for you. And you're like, did you, though?
No.
Because I still can't get through this.
No, sometimes you can transpose it into something, but other times, it's just too much. I'm like, it's good to know that you are that talented, but I am not, so we're not going to play this. I'll have to move it along. Oh, and then there's one more. Well, actually, there's 2 more. There's the playlist that I made that is the companion for this podcast.
Ooh, me. Yeah.
That I haven't added to in a while, but I should, which is a collection of every genre ever. This massive list. And I love that one because it's songs I love. And then there's a lot of Western Australian artists that are really, really good, multiple of whom I know personally, and they were doing a big Bandcamp sale 3 weeks ago, where they were selling stuff and all the proceeds were going to the artist instead of the company taking a cut. So I picked up some stuff from people I know, and then some stuff from people I had been watching, and then this new group called, new to me, you gotta look them up, Grievous Bodily Calm. It's 5 guys.
Write this down. Keep going.
And I don't know. I found out about them through a friend of mine who like represents small artists. His name is Harris Waters.
Yeah.
Harris Waters, and he had them up on his Instagram, and he was like, "Go check out their stuff," and I was like, "All right, I'll do it." And I like pulled a little of their album, and then I like bought the vinyl immediately.
No, really, it's Grievous Bodily
Calm.
So
that's new to people, and
okay,
new to me. Their last album, I believe, is called Repel. That's the one I ordered, and it's coming here all the way from Australia. But I'm stoked about it because like it's good.
So awesome.
It's good because people are just doing what we're doing. They're at home and they'll get out their guitar or their keyboard or whatever it is they play, and they'll do like 2 or 3 songs. And they'll be like, "Okay, see you guys later." But it's nice, like, because you can't go to shows right now. Which, when you like music, going to a shows is like a big part of your life. And if you're a musician, playing shows is a gigantic part of your life, and also how you make money. So I think it's really nice that they're doing this. And then if you donate to that organization, they're then distributing the money out to all the artists that have been participating in the festival. So
that's so awesome.
Yeah. Or at least the ones that are in need. I mean, not everybody is in the same level of financial need, but they've set it up so they could help people who they can't work right now, so they can't make any money.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Isn't that great?
I remember that's crazy. I was watching Wiz Khalifa live on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
He does Stoned Alone or something like that.
Nice.
Is what it's called.
You were like, I really relate to this.
I was like, he's like, soon to cloud smoke if you want to, smoke with me live on Instagram. I'm like, smoke.
Me.
Let's go. This guy. But I was watching him live, and he was talking to one of the guys, and he's just like, I mean, they're not doing any tours probably the rest of the year.
Wow. That's hard.
Yeah. Because it's just crazy.
It's hard to plan, and then every single person basically had their tour cut off, and people are touring all the time, which means there's only a certain amount of space in the year where people could be out and not be overlapping other people, or if there's other bands that are going out and tour with them, and to redo all those schedules. And instead of having 9 months to fit all that in, you have 3 months to fit all that in. If we go back to normal at the end of the summer, I don't know. No one's projecting actual dates, so we don't know.
Yeah. And these phases that they're coming out with, all the phases are phases to actually not be in lockdown anymore.
Right.
And those phases, they actually did not give any specific time on when each phase would be done.
Yeah.
And
They're just saying, we hope, but we don't know.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I mentioned this in the last podcast, and this is a podcast about music, and so you can't not support musicians. They have to eat too. Everyone thinks of people who make music as superhuman in a way, they're not real people, and it's they have to pay rent, they have to buy food, they have to do all the same things that you do.
Yeah, and they think that they have other part-time jobs. Right. Some of them do, but
a lot of them don't. Yeah, if you got to the point where you were making all your money on your craft, which is an amazing place to be in, and then all of a sudden everything gets shut off, it's hard. I was talking to a friend of mine last week, and she was like, yeah, this definitely reminds everyone about that 6 months emergency fund, right? And I was like, yeah. They used to be like, oh, yeah, it'd be a good suggestion to have 6 months salary put away if you can. And now it's it's not a suggestion anymore. It's a necessity.
Yeah.
Every 8 to 10 years, the economy collapses. Well, then you better start putting money away. Put money in the bank.
That's a good point.
While you can, so that the next time this happens, because it's going to happen again, you won't be destitute. It'll be nice.
You know what?
There it is. I just laid out.
You got it.
A new financial plan for you. Again, for your charge.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so I think what we need to do is take a break and then come back and do something fun. Or
do it.
Funny. Or maybe just go to music. I don't know. We'll talk about it during the break, and when we come back, you'll find out whatever we decided.
See what we go.
Yeah. All right.
their music's always going to be relevant to me just because I started listening to them whenever I was in high school.
The Mike and Record Foundation. Playing music by independent artists, celebrating music of all kinds.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Mike and Record Foundation
We're back.
podcast.
Whoop, whoop.
I am one of the hosts, Jesse,
Old Jesse
and
here.
this over here is
Chloe.
Yes.
Hi, we're back. We just took a very extended break.
Yeah, that was a very extended break. We bonded. We got to talk a little bit. But I know we were talking about doing something fun from the break, right?
Right, we did.
We can't, and I'm going to take full responsibility on this one here, guys. I've got chicken tacos that I slow cook, and so I have to put those in because it takes them 4 hours to cook.
Dude, there's got to be dinner on the table. Now, we are in a 1 hour time difference, but it is still getting late into the afternoon in both places that we are, so we don't have time for games. We only have time for seriousness and the fun that we had when I wasn't recording. Personal fun that was between the two of us.
Yeah, damn, we got pretty much off topic, like, for real.
We did. It was great. I feel like we always do that, though, and I am perfectly fine with it. So, now we're going to do music. Music.
Yes.
So, like, before I was talking about nostalgia, and it sort of turned into the de facto theme of this show because you and I are getting back together, like, reunited. And then, like, we were talking about, like, music nostalgia. And so, like, somebody put up, a mutual friend of ours put up on Instagram last week, so, like, this compilation of, like, cover songs from, like, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And, like, I commented on it, like, I love nostalgia, I love this. And so, like, when you put, like, those two things together, I'm, like, happy. So, the song that I wanted to play on this show is sort of like a reflection of that. So, I brought in, I found, actually, an interview from our first show that I did with Zan Green. Remember that guy? Remember that dude? Remember that boss?
Shoot. Shout out.
Shout out to Zan Green. I love that dude so much. Like, apparently I interviewed him for a band that he was in a long time ago called These Empty Hands, and we had played that song on our first show, and he gave, like, a little behind the scenes on the recording process. And I completely forgot that I had done that. And I was like, oh, man, I miss that band. I miss Zan. This is a cool interview clip. So I'm going to play that and then play the song that goes with it. And that, like, is from the, like, only time frame in our whole lives that we lived in the same place at the same time.
True.
Aw.
Shout out.
Shout out to South Carolina for bringing us together. Thank you, the Palmetto State. So all that, like, goes together. So we're gonna play that, and I think that is it. When we come back, we'll wrap it up and we'll go. I know. We'll be right back.
So I didn't know how to program the metronome to where it would change tempos. So I had to, like, sit in the room with Justin while he was recording the drum part, and he just set up a metronome on his laptop, and then I would sit in the recording room with him and just, like, air guitar the parts that I was playing, and then he would stop when it got to where the tempo had changed, and we would just, in that take, and he would change his own metronome and play the rest of the song, and then we just, like, cut and spliced it together. And then when you hear me scream yes at the very end, it was because we had just finished the whole song, and it was taking so long because something kept going wrong every time. It was one, like, a new thing that messed up or something, and so it took us so many tries, and I was just so stoked when it finally worked.
Okay, we're back. Yeah. That song is like tight. It like starts like quiet and then all of a sudden they just like
good.
roll into it. It's an old favorite of mine. So yay. Thanks to the now
It's a solid.
These Empty Hands. Yeah, it's totally solid. I'm always kind of bummed when like bands stop playing together, but that doesn't stop me from listening to their old music.
I had a short one-day stint as the lead singer for them.
I remember that was actually low-key the other reason why I wanted to play them, and I didn't know if you were going to remember.
Oh, man. These Empty Hands.
Yes, it was.
And you know what's so crazy is like These Empty Hands was so good, and Zan was in that band, and now Zan, being in a bigger city and like really getting into himself, like who he is, he's just become such a shredder on the guitar. It's so crazy.
I was listening to the EP that his new band put out, Moru, earlier today, and it's so heavy and so good. Like, he said I could play it on one of these shows, so we're gonna come up with that like in a future show. I gotta like go through the whole thing again and pick the one I like the best to play. But like when they put it out, I was like, dude, let me put it on the podcast. He was like, yeah, man. Thank you. That's a great lead into actually, because I wanted to ask for like, tell us who we should listen to. Like, I mean, I have friends who are musicians. We're both like steeped in the music industry.
Oh yeah.
From near and far, but like I always love getting suggestions from people. Like, you know, when someone like is just into a song. Actually, you just did this while we were on the break. Like, you're so into a song, it gives you this feeling, and then you're trying to share that feeling with someone else, and you're like, you gotta listen to this song. And like, I love that when people are like, please listen to this. I love that feeling. And I felt that too, where I'm like, I'm like sending someone a link, just like, listen to this, and like, I don't even care how it impacts you, but just like play it and let it go through your ears into your brain.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing too, is like, and for like us, it's like, if you guys are listening to us, that means you love music. That means
Amen.
You know good music, and so if I'm like, hey, give me a good song, I'm not gonna willy nilly.
Right.
You want a good song? I'm gonna make sure that this song is a good song.
Yes.
So that's that song.
I love like a couple years ago, 2, 3, whatever. I was going on this trip and I like messaged a friend of mine who like really knows like good and sometimes kind of obscure music, and I was like, send me a playlist for my trip, and he sent me like I was like and I just spent like a week listening to all this different stuff that he had pulled out. Like, some of it I knew, some of it I didn't know, and it was like amazing. Like, I love those experiences where someone like takes like they curate something for you out of their own experience, and that's kind of like what we're trying to do with this, but we also want to take from other people and then like put it back out. So please tell us, independent artists, like if they own their music and they're not signed by anyone, then we can play them, and I would love to give new artists exposure. So shout out to independent artists. Yes, for real. And also just like musicians in general. Love. Okay, so if you're home, if you're not home, and our resident chef over here, we all have a lot of stuff going on. I know I do. But so like we can't just like sit here all day, although we would. And we kind of have. The parts that you're hearing are much less than like what
This
we've
is just
done.
about, like, let's be real, 45 minutes of the whole 4 hours that
It
we've
wasn't
been
4. When
figuring
did we
out how to
start?
get this thing going.
It was like 3.
Okay, 3. I think it was like 2. It was like 2.
2.5. Yeah, it was like 3 o'clock.
So somewhere around there.
3 o'clock my time. And so, like,
Yeah.
we're doing good. But we do have to go. Like, we have to move through life here now. So,
Yeah, I gotta go put some chicken.
we
in
gotta
the
get.
old
He's gotta
crock
get
pot.
dinner on. I have to. Well, I don't cook, so I have to find something that doesn't require cooking.
Usually I just eat paper, but today I kind of want some kind of nutritious substance.
I bought myself this like ramen kit that I'm gonna try to make. Actually,
Ooh,
I know,
alright.
right? I went to the grocery store on Friday for like the first time in 2 weeks, and it was just sitting there, like,
Yeah.
and it meets all my like dietary requirements. Like, it's gluten free, it's vegan, it's low
Yeah.
carb, and I was like, I like ramen. Let's see if I can do this. So I was like, I'll have it on Sunday. So here we are. I'm gonna see if I can make it happen. We'll see if it's any good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sundays are always the best days.
Yeah, to just like
do that.
relax. I've been working all weekend actually on like podcast stuff, and so the last part of Sunday is gonna be the only actual weekend I have. Maybe I'll like watch a movie or something. That's what everyone's been doing with their quarantine anyway.
Yeah,
So.
Netflix and Hulu have been my best friend.
Yeah, they're good friends. You know, they've been here for us, and we appreciate it.
Through the hard times, through the good times.
Oh man, we gotta talk about that next time, which also leads me to say I don't know when our next show is gonna be, but it's gonna be sooner than later.
Later.
Yeah, like
Probably sooner than it took us to get to this one.
right. I feel like we could say that. I hate to make a time promise because it never works. But
Yep.
I know we talked about. Oh, hold on. The auto feeder is going. Can you hear that?
I thought Jules was like
Julia.
digging for some food.
Julia is coming for some food now because her auto feeder just released it. And she's like, ooh, dinner. Apparently it's dinner for everyone now. Also coming up in the future too, well, we're going to have on another good friend of mine who's going to be a guest for us and talk about something that I think is really important for both of us and all of us, which is life pacing. We were talking about this a little bit in the pre-show, but just like Jesse and I are both very ambitious people, which means we always have a lot going on. And when you work full time and then you also have like side aspirations, you don't really ever get any downtime because you're always working on something. And
True.
that can be like an unsustainable place to live if you do it for too long or you do it in the wrong way. And so a really good friend of mine helped me out with that concept a while back. And so I wanted to invite her on to talk to both of us about it and then just sort of like let other people peep in on that conversation because I feel like it's something a lot of people could use. So that's what's coming up in the future of the Mike and Record Foundation. What would? But other than that, we're good. There's things in the works.
We got stuff coming.
We do.
We got substance. We've got content. We've got everything that you need to get into the music game.
We're doing it.
Done.
We're supporting independent music, or also making it. Wait till we can debut some things from Mr. Mills over there. Skinny Mills over there.
Skinny Mills and Dibs coming out hot.
Dude, one more shout out to Dibs. Love it. Just let him know that when I come.
We don't know who he is yet, but you will.
When I come visit, I'm gonna be sleeping on the couch. You better tell him. Let him know what time it is.
Hey, he's down. And I think you guys could probably hold a really solid, long conversation.
Ooh, so maybe we need to do an on location with another guest host in the future when we're allowed to leave our own states again. Ha ha ha. Whenever that is.
Anyways, bringing it back.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Every time anyone clicks on this show and listens to it, it just like makes me feel so happy. When I decided to bring it back during the quarantine and started working on the last episode 8 that came out, I like felt this burst of creative energy, and I realized that this podcast is like the key to like the rest of my creative endeavors. It like opens up a part of me that like helps everything else that I'm working on make progress. So that was an exciting revelation. And so we gotta so we have to keep doing it so that I can also do other things.
She has other skills, guys.
I do. I have other things that I know how to do. Anyway, all that to say, thank you for being here.
Yes.
It means a lot to both of us that people take the time to spend with us, because there's a lot of content out there and you have like your pick of it, and you choosing to spend time with us is like a big deal. So
for sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jesse,
for
coming
back.
You. And for like, you were like the Mic and Record Foundation ride or die. Like every time,
put me in, coach.
I am like, I text you and I'm like, we're coming back. You're like, let's do it. Every time I'm like, you know what? One of these times he's gonna be like, no. But every time you're like, I'm down.
Nah, I'll be in probably about 90% of the time.
I'm good for that.
Sounds a good round.
I think I can. Yeah. And that other 10% that you're not there are the times that we don't have the show.
Exactly.
Hence our extended hiatus.
True.
Just kidding. We can have other people, but I love having you here.
It's fun times.
Yeah, okay. All right, we're going to get out of here. I'm getting you out 5 minutes ahead of schedule. You're welcome.
Oh, shoot.
He's looking at the door. That chicken is calling it.
My battery is literally about to die.
Oh,
like, that's why I'm like, do I get the...
Nope, you're fine. We're done. We're good. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Heart emojis. Yay. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Stay inside. Bye.